going on, everybody? Cowboy C3 and Melvin Worldwide Wall.
This man is not just call me Melvin, man. Ain't no way this man just called me Melvin.
My bad. Anyway, tonight I was supposed to talk about the trades that the Cowboys made before the trade deadline and how I thought they would impact the team, and I was going to give the mid-season grades for the team. But something happened today. Marshawn Kneeland, 24 years old, passed away at 1:31 this morning from apparent suicide. And it's just big in the football, man. It is. Super unfortunate incident. Seemed like that he may have been having some difficulties. And I'll play some audio from the dispatchers talking back and forth about, there was a phone call and there's some correlation, or some dialogue between them that seemed to suggest that, one, they had got a phone call about him being in a dire mental state, and then two, they couldn't find him. It was a short chase, and they lost contact with the vehicle. So we'll talk about that stuff and some more here on Cowboy Spit.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take Cowboy Spit.
Throws back of the end zone. There's CeeDee Lamb.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Cowboy C3. Excuse me, my boy Mill Sr. So, Marshawn Kneeland, suicide today, man. It's always something that's pretty tough. And there was an incident not too long ago where you had a football player, Doug Martin, that had he died in police custody. They said he was having a mental episode. And, this stuff is big in the football and everybody goes through it. And us as men, we always seem to mask it or hide it or not be very honest about our mental state or our mental health. And I think that's just how we're trained and brought up as men to be. And being former military men, right? You're taught or is suggested that you have to be strong in every single aspect of life. No matter what's going on with your mental state, you need to be strong for everybody else. And that's not always the case. So, Mel, I know that you have a background in just dealing with people in general, and different things that people may go through in life. And I know you can speak a lot on this subject, and there are some things in my life that I've gone through, that have put me in a not a great mental state, and
for sure.
I think we've all been there.
Yep.
And obviously, Marshawn Kneeland was going through a lot. And
that's the part I don't know what he was going through, because first of all, when I heard about the incident, and they didn't disclose what the cause of death was, I was like, okay. And then I seen you share in the group that it was a parent suicide, and I was like, and I'm trying to figure out what it was he was going through. Like I didn't dig into it, like, because I usually don't dig into deaths like that. I just once I see it, I say a little prayer and I move on. I don't even want to know, like, because I don't like going into it. I don't like to volunteer myself to feel sorrow. So I kind of stay hands off. But what was he going through though?
Well, it's not very clear, but I'll play you the audio from the dispatchers, and I guess we can kind of dissect it from there.
All right.
We're talking to the girlfriend. She's trying to call his agent, but we're trying to get him to call him first. But she's saying he is armed and has a history of mental illness, and her quote was, "He will end it all."
Good copy. You probably ran back to the car to get the gun. 10-4.
If she calls him, we'll let you know.
Good copy. All right, y'all do me a favor. Everybody stay with the buddy. Don't go looking alone. This guy is armed.
President, they just received a text from him, a group text from him saying goodbye. They're concerned for his welfare. They do not have a key to the apartment.
David 7, I copy. I was on this call. We were just out there. There's nobody at the apartment. I'll contact him by phone.
We have a lieutenant calling in from Plano advising that the NFL is calling Plano PD and the subject is texting his family goodbye.
So his girlfriend called 911 and said that he had a history of mental health.
Yeah, and I think that history is like, if you're trying to figure out what may have happened that night, I think knowing that history is first and foremost the foundation of understanding that. What is that history? Is that history that, he's had cases like this where he said he was going to end it all previously and had to be talked off the ledge or had to be admitted, things of that nature. Like, what is the mental illness that he, I don't know. Is he battling depression? Whatever the case may be. Yeah, you're right. It is unclear.
Yeah. So
it is unclear.
I know last year his mother passed away.
Okay.
And I guess it was right before the draft. And he wears a little vial of her ashes on it around his, on the necklace. He's done that since she passed. And there's no clear indication, but obviously his girlfriend was aware of something, and she was trying to contact him, trying to contact his agent, and then we're talking about a period of maybe a couple hours or so, and then the NFL got involved in it as well, and then the Dallas Cowboys, of course, got involved in it. And what happened, I guess he was at his apartment, left his apartment, and was traveling at a high rate of speed, and he got off the highway right by the practice facility. And when he got off the highway, I guess he crashed the car, and then he, got out of the car and left the scene and went to an area, you know what I'm saying? And I guess that's where it all happened.
Mm.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of, speculation and stuff, and we'll maybe one day we'll hear the story, maybe one day, maybe it'll never come out. But there was a young lady that had an interview on Fox, and her name was Tanya Ray, and I really liked her point of view on it because it's honest. It talks about a lot of things that are going on, like within the league, and things that the league does or doesn't do to help football players. Check it out.
Marshawn Kneeland was a 24-year-old defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys who just scored a touchdown on a blocked punt in their Monday Night Football game against the Arizona Cardinals this week. The first thing that's very important for people to understand when this stuff happens is who we're getting the information from regarding his death. All of the information we have on that is provided to us from the Frisco Police Department. There are no other sources. Their release says that it is being investigated as a possible suicide. According to the Frisco police, troopers attempted to stop a vehicle for a traffic violation. The driver refused to stop, resulting in a pursuit with the DPS troopers. However, DPS troopers lost sight of the vehicle and the pursuit was terminated. The vehicle was later located, crashed, and abandoned. The Frisco police say that they then searched the immediate area and found Marshawn Kneeland deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. According to Tom Pellicero, a Plano Police Department spokesman said they received a call for a welfare concern around 11:40 p.m. at an address they were told belonged to Marshawn Kneeland. Officers did not make contact. The pursuit was already underway. The police have also said that somewhere along the way, they got the information that Kneeland had expressed suicidal ideations. There has not been a full investigation done, and the only information we have is from the police department directly. But it appears that as of right now, that is what happened. A lot of people are posting things like this. They ask for help from Dak Prescott, and many NFL institutions, including the NFLPA, are reminding players, we encourage you to reach out to us for wellness support or use the NFL Lifeline. It has only been a couple of weeks since it was revealed that Doug Martin, while suffering reportedly from a mental health episode, died in police custody. We still do not know how that happened. The body cam footage has still not been released, and the police reports on the situation were vague at best. There are two things I want you to remember. The first is that we don't know what happened. We are being told by the police what happened. The police are notoriously unreliable narrators. That does not mean it didn't happen. That does not mean we cannot express grief. That does not mean we cannot talk about mental health. But the next thing I want to talk about is in the NFL specifically, we are talking about players who have inevitably, inarguably dealt with head trauma. It is all well and good to provide resources for players who are in the headspace to reach out, recognize what's going on with them, and ask for help. But there needs to be so much more effort put into diagnosing and assessing the mental health of their players actively and regularly as a part of them playing in the NFL. Marshawn Kneeland was a 24-year-old man who lost his mother in 2024, who was going through that grief process. And it is very clear that there is not enough being done by these NFL teams, by the NFLPA, to regularly account for the physical and mental toll of playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked, man. I mean, we already know CTE is a I mean, it's a serious thing, right? And yeah, these people run into each other for a living and use their head to run each other for a living. Yeah, I get that. So you're gonna have some head trauma, some CTE possibly, and all of that stuff. I mean, other than putting the stuff in place for you to get help, for you to see team doctors, therapists, and talk to somebody about your depression and all that stuff. Other than that, the only thing I could think more that they could do is just forcing players to go and get certain help. Like if it's in place, like is one thing if there is not in place.
Right.
But if it's in place and the only thing is the players that need it aren't using it, or the players that try to use it, there's an environment that frowns upon it. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know how it is when we use medical in the military. They frown upon, oh, you're going to medical again. You're trying to get out of work,
Right.
So
right.
I can imagine that maybe that's possible in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Like you going to go see a team doctor, and that team doctor say, yeah, he probably shouldn't play. And now you got coaches and players saying, are you letting us down?
Especially with the amount of money that you're making.
Correct. So if that exists, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Does that exist?
Obviously it does. And she said something that I found interesting in there, that she said if the player's in the right mental state in order to receive help, or if you're in the right mental state to ask for help. But
yeah, it's real tough.
Yeah. I kind of go back to, something that you said too when I thought about it, was that, in the military, yeah, you go and, I really need help. You know what I'm saying? Like I need help dealing with whatever struggles that you're going through in the military, because that's what I'm familiar with, spent 21 years in it. And it's kind of frowned upon.
Bro, let somebody in your family pass away and you tell them I ain't gonna look. yeah, you giving me my time to you gave me emergency leave. I was gone for 2 weeks. Now I'm back and deployment's coming up. Yeah, go to them and tell you, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for me to go to deployment. I need to see somebody. Yeah. Especially if you're vital.
Right.
Good luck.
So
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you know, when I was on my last ship, you know, and I know you're familiar with the story already, but my grandfather passed away. And I had two men that were important in my life, and that was my grandfather and my father. And he passed away. And you know, it bothered me, but I couldn't go to his funeral because we were doing a towing evolution and I was the subject matter expert for the towing evolution. And then about a year later, my father passed away. Went to his funeral, came back on a Tuesday, went on deployment on a Friday. Was gone for 9.5 months, came back and got a divorce. So my mental state was all over the place.
Yeah.
And then all that was going on in 2019, and then 2020 happened. So, you know, you isolated. Yeah. And, you know, it was a tough time. It was a very tough time. And, you know, you get in these mental, you know, you get in these places in your head where things are super cloudy and not what they seem, and you find yourself doing things that you wouldn't normally do, or you find yourself isolating yourself, or you find yourself being forced to be isolated, and it's not easy to deal with. It's not. But you know, I had avenues that I could utilize that helped me through that process, and it was tough, and I had great days and I had bad days, you know what I'm saying? And I talked to you guys a lot, and we did podcasts a lot, you know, and it helped me mentally get through it. But some people get so far in the hole that they just can't get out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
And you know,
and it sucked because you can't help that. Like, you know, you can try to control your emotions and feelings and stuff, but sometimes you never know how you're gonna react to certain things. And you don't that feeling of depression or anxiety, it ain't nothing that you can just decide that you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been depressed before, and I've been depressed twice before. And each time it was years later when I realized, when I look back on it and realized I was depressed. I didn't know I was depressed at neither time. Both times I was depressed, I had no clue that's what depression was and what it felt like. But what I do remember is I couldn't get nothing done.
Right.
Like I couldn't sit down and do nothing. The first time I felt real depression was when there was ERBing us out of the Navy, and I was getting forced out. I was at my 10-year mark probably.
Right.
And getting forced out of the Navy, and I had a year of going through that ERB process, and I didn't get approved until that 12th month. That right on a year mark is when I got approved. So that whole year, I'm thinking I'm getting out, but I'm supposed to be doing resumes and doing interviews and getting ready to set up and get out. And every time I sat down to do a resume, I couldn't even type. I just couldn't believe I was getting kicked out. I was like, it can't end like this. This is not how I envisioned it. Right. And I didn't know what to do. Like I was confused, depressed, and I just couldn't move. I was frozen. So I do know I get real inactive if I'm worried or depressed. You know, sometimes I'm worried and I'm not depressed. It's just I'm worried. But that was depression. I know that. Like, I couldn't move though. Like I just couldn't. And then the second time it was kind of the same thing. It felt like that. But that time, you know, I had started drinking. I had started drinking. I never turned into an alcoholic or nothing like that, but like I just was bored. You know, I didn't know what to do. I was just bored. So I was just drinking for no reason and still couldn't get nothing done. Right. So I know depression is a real thing, and I'm thinking about mine might have been very mild. Right. Mine just made me not productive, and and not thinking straight. But it's some people who actually do drink way more than I do, or go into drugs, or their depression is deep, chronic depression. And the way my mild depression felt, I feel like I'm afraid of deep depression.
Right.
Them the ones where people got to get medicated, and man, I don't and thinking about hurting themselves and all that stuff. I don't want to feel what that one feel like.
Right. So
I don't want to feel that one. Dang.
When I was going through what I went through, I think I was a little bit more than mild. Like, I had some crazy thoughts. And I remember, like, even my mother flying out to make sure that I was all right. Like, they was that worried, and but I was in San Diego, and I was staying with my cousin, and he was the first one to suggest that maybe I needed to see somebody. But I could tell that he was super worried about things, because he would always, like, come and check on me. Even I'd be at work, he'd come to the ship, you know what I'm saying, just to make sure I was all right. And first I thought it was weird, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, like, damn, I'm all right, you know what I mean? But I knew that I was in a funk. I was in a weird spot.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So
yeah, I already know.
Yep. So
yeah, I don't like the feeling, man. And I feel bad for people who go through it and succumb to it, and don't see a way out of it. And then have to resort to something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for them people and their family, because that's tough.
Yeah, man. It's rough. And the team really hasn't said much. They put out a statement, and some of the players have said things, and just to express their condolences to him, his family, his girlfriend, and the coaches, the player, nobody said anything today. And this is really weird, because Thursday normally is Cowboy Media Day. That's when they do press conferences and everything. And of course they shut all that down today. So, everybody's going through it. And, Dak, his brother committed suicide, mom died. He's had a lot, and he has a whole suicide prevention organization. So yeah, it's pretty deep, and I know people go through things in life, but there's always people that'll listen to you, people that want to help you, people that will guide you in the right direction, and I just tell everybody that listens to this, whether it's the couple of people that's on the live right now, or anybody that plays this video on YouTube, man, if you feel it, you need to get help. There's always help to get, man. 988 is a national mental health hotline. Call, use it. And if you really, really feel, and not even if you really feel, if you sort of feel anything, any kind of depression, man, because these situations are, death is final. It's over. There's nothing after it. And you affect a lot of people, even though it feels like, this is something that you cannot handle, and this is where it's going to take place. There's a lot of people that are affected by it, and the mental health, and I talked about in the title with men. Well, on the thumbnail, men's mental health. We have this persona, and Dan Orlovsky kind of talked about today, like, as an athlete, I would never admit that I was down or I was depressed. You know what I mean? I would never admit that, because that I need to have this persona that I'm the man. I'm the tough guy. I'm the leader of the team, and I cannot, I can't let any kinks in my armor be shown. And, that it's not healthy, man. It's not the way to go.
No, it's not. You got to find somebody you can trust and be vulnerable and open to. And if it's not a professional, then you got to get somebody that you trust, that's go speak the right type of words to you, where it's not poison or something that's gonna facilitate you doing something that's gonna make matters worse. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to, it don't have to be a professional as long as that person is somewhere daggone near close to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some people just got that touch where they don't have to be trained to deal with people like that. And it's always good to have somebody like that in your pocket.
Right.
For sure.
And, we've leaned on each other in times that we've had tough times in life. And, it's easy to, for me, it's easy to talk to people and listen to their story and kind of try to connect with them that way and maybe give them some sort of useful advice or maybe guide them in the right direction and get them the help that they need, right? But once it has to deal with me, I don't deal with it too well.
Yeah. The thing about how me and you linked on each other though is we did it in so many different ways. Right. Sometimes we do it with humor. You know what I mean? Like we might hit each other up, and I don't even have to tell you if I'm dealing with something or vice versa. But I could tell, this ain't one of those 5-10 minute conversations. We probably really need to talk today. And we'll stay on the line for an hour and a half, and we'll go through just sports, then we'll go through funny stuff and laugh, and then we'll go through some stuff, and then we'll talk about something serious, and then we both get something from it, like, all right, that's why I need it, and then we go on, you know what I mean? And I don't even know, I probably said something you needed to hear. Right. You get what I'm saying? But we got around to it some type of way, and it might have been a joking manner or we joking about something, but the realness come out in the joke or whatever we're talking about, and then bam, okay, that's what I needed to hear. You get what I'm saying? And then we go on, man. So but that's what friends are for, though. You know what I mean? If a person don't know you, you know what I mean, sometimes it's hard for them to be able to do that, even the professionals.
It's true. And it always helps me because you guys, y'all, know me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know exactly who I am. Yep. You know how I tick, the normal things that I go about in my life. And it's always, comforting to know that somebody can tell if something's wrong. And if I need to talk, got somebody to talk to. That's a good thing to have. But, the thing about it is that a lot of times, some people, they just feel like that they've passed that, and that's when it becomes scary. And
you know what? I just had a thought. Mm-hmm. Calls over the night.
Okay.
I just had that thought. Call him. I'll call him in the morning. You call him tonight.
For sure. Sure will. Matter of fact, I can do that right now.
Yeah.
All right, man. Cowboy C3, man. Appreciate y'all listening to us. Once again, rest in peace to Marshawn Lynch, man. Marshawn Kneeland, man. Tragic situation. May his family and, his friends and people close to him, may they find some comfort, in whatever way that they can through this, tragic time.
All right, bro. Thank you.
All right, my brother. Peace.
Yep.